Good morning to all of you. Welcome back to Hospitality Engineering. Today we will introduce one more module, boiler. In module 4, part 1, introduction to the boiler. Introduction. How does a boiler works? A boiler is a water containing vessel which transfers heat from a fuel source. Usually there are three types of fuels available. One is solid, liquid, gases. This fuel become the flue gas which heat indirectly into the steam, and steam piped into the required usages, maybe for the laundry or for cooking purpose or any other usages. The energy given up by the steam is sufficient to convert it back into the form of water. When 100% of steam produced is returned to be reused, the system is called a closed system. Usually in hospitality, if you see, the whatever steam goes to the laundry, it comes back as a condensate. If it is direct cooking, those wastages will happen. So in case if the steam won't come back to the boiler, that is called the open system. So there are the basically major two type of system. One is closed system and another one is open system. We will see with the picture. Closed system, it is a high efficiency boiler. You can see the red pipeline is a steam, then it comes again, all the condensate collected through the blue, it goes to the boiler. So its cycle is closed. Whereas in open system, the steam goes in the red pipeline, then it become condensed. The condensate goes to the well, or it is goes as a waste. This is called the open system. There are major two type of classification of boilers are there. One is fire tube, another one is water tube. Usually fire tube or cell and tube boiler. You can see in the picture the fire happening in the fire chamber. From there it passes through the flue, then it goes to the back end, then again it move into the other side. So each passage we call it one pass, two pass, like this. That is called the fire tube. Basically fire tube, the fire goes inside the tube, is surrounded by the water. Whereas in water tube, the fire is surrounded, the water goes inside the tube. That is what major difference between the fire tube and water tube. We will see the elaborate fire tube or cell tube. Fire tube boiler. Fire or the hot gases are directly through the inside of the tube within the boiler cell, which are surrounded by the water. The tubes are arranged in a banks so that the gases can be passed through the boiler up to the 4 times. In this picture, you can see the rose picture. It shows combustion fire. It start first pass, then again up. You can see the tube second pass, then top third pass. Finally, it goes to the chimney. Through chimney, it goes to the ambient. In this method, maximum we can make the 4 passes is possible. So the number of passes increasing means efficiency will increase. The system exposes the maximum heat transfer surface to the water. Fire tube boilers are also known as cell boilers and can produce up to approximately 750 HP or 25,000 pounds of steams per hour. 80% of boilers in use are of these configurations. Water tube boiler. Here Fire or the hot gases are directed to and around the outside of the tube. Tube inside water is arranged in a vertical positions. Water tube boilers are usually rectangular in shape and have two or more drums. The separation of the steam and water takes place in the top drum, while the bottom drum serves as a collection point of for sludge. The system is usually used when more than 750 HP or several hundred thousands pounds of steams per hour are needed. There are other designs with special configurations adapting them to particular applications. Usually the fire tube boilers are very large in size. Here we will see Sankey diagram. The fire tube energy flow through a steam boiler. The fuel first burned, then it becomes the flue gas. Flue gases basically does the job, while flue gas heat the water. There are the losses also there. Basically the output will be hot water, then stock losses, then casing losses, again this condensate return water. To show this, whatever the losses are happening, there is a diagram which is called the Sankey diagram. The principal energy flow through a steam boiler is shown in this diagram. Energy entered through the feed water, condensate recovery and primary fuel. Energy leaves via casing losses, blowdown losses, stock losses and steam output. No percentages are shown here because they depends very much on the specific design and operating conditions. However, at full load, 70% of the heat output in the steams would be fairly representative. Here we see the principal energy flows through a hot water boiler. Again, no percentages are shown, but at full load, some type of boiler can achieve conversion efficiencies of well over the 90%. We will see in the later stage. Sankey diagram. So energy in and energy out. So energy out goes as a smoke, friction, even alternator, condenser, pump, so on. The Sankey diagram, the picture itself self-explanatory. Further, we will see little more deep fire tube design and working principle. You can see in this picture there is a burner where the fire chamber, the combustion starts, the fire created. This fire flue gases goes inside the tube. The tubes are surrounded by the water. Then finally, after passed through the number of passes based on the design, whether it is a single pass, two pass, this picture it is a single pass, it goes to the chimney, then again atmosphere. The hot gases goes as a atmosphere. Other side, the through pump, forced pump, water goes, then water becomes the steam goes through a output where we usually have the master valve. The body or cell of a fire tube boiler is a pressure vessel which contains the water that will be circulated for heating purposes or converted to the steam for process use. Fire tube boiler process. The burner, you can see the yellow flame started, that is first pass, that is a flue. The yellow pass is called the fire chamber. Then it started the second process. The first pass is exposing the end place. In case if we have the water, then it is a backside water is there, means it is a wet back boiler. Then second pass goes, again third pass start. From third pass it goes to the chimney where it is 200 degree Celsius. These tubes are surrounded by the water, thus the flue gases heat transfer through the tube into the water. Water becomes a steam. The steam collected at the top in the steam space. You can see the master valve. So more than 150 degree Celsius steam goes outside the process. This is a basic construction of the fire tube boiler. Fire tube boiler passes again further. Each passes are separated in this diagram. You can see first pass, second pass, third pass and fourth passes. So wet back, dry back is to understanding is very important. Wet back means the first pass to second pass, that particular place, the back side, you can see this area, the water is there. This blue color is water. If water is there, then it is a wet back boiler. Here this is first pass. Here there is a no water. The red color shows no water. So this is a dry back boiler. So this is another type of classification. Whether wet back or dry back is another type of classification of the boiler. Typical fire tube boiler layout. So in a fire tube boiler, the steam is contained in a large outer vessels, which puts a limit on the pressure purely because of the mechanical strength of vessels wall. Steam output is also constrained because evaporation can only occur off the surface of the water in the vessel, which is limited in the area. You can see here, this is a firebox. From here nozzle is there. The fire will start here yellow. This will go as a first pass. Then again, this is a wet back boiler. This is a combustion gases, blue gases. Then second passes. From the second pass, it goes to the chimney. Through chimney, this it goes to the atmosphere. Similar way, there will be a feed water. Feed water goes here in blue color. The all feed water surrounded with the tube. Then again the tubes surrounded with the water. The water converted into the steam. Steam goes to the master valve. There is a safety valve also there. From there it goes outside. The function of the safety valve, there will be a working pressure. In case pressure exceeds, the safety valve automatically will open. This is a safety device. Advantages of the fire tube boiler. The water is supplied in a cell and outside tubes, while hot gases is supplied inside the tubes. So the water volume cannot be shaken easily when the fire tube boiler is running. Point number 2, fire tube boiler is so easy to use, operate, clean and maintain. Point number 3, the fire tube boiler can be used in small scale industry. Point number 4, the fire tube boiler is relatively cheaper than water tube boiler. What are the disadvantages of the fire tube boiler? Point number 1, from the furnace combustion side, required time to fill water is longer than to increase the temperature and pressure. Point number 2, the efficiency of the heat transfer is bad enough because of the heat exchanger does not use thermal radiation. Point number 3, in case of burst, the fire tube boiler would be very dangerous if a large amount of the hot water and steam have been accumulated inside. Point number 4, the fire tube boiler cannot produce steam at a pressure higher than 250 pounds per square inch. Point number 5, capacity of generated steam is limited. Now we will see the construction and working design detail of the water tube boiler. You can see here the water tube boiler. Basically there are the upper and bottom two drums are there. Both drums are connected with the tubes. Then the entire this tube surrounded by the fire. So you can see the burner is there. The fire is now heating these tubes. The water becomes the steams. The flue gases goes to the furnace. Water tube boilers are typically used in power station application that require a high steam output. Usually for the larger output, the water tube boilers are used. Whereas the temperature also very high. Whereas in the fire tube boiler, the temperature of the steam is 150 degrees Celsius. Whereas here, it is a superheated steam in water tube boiler. So the temperature of the steam is 550 degree Celsius. Water tube boiler design. Here you can see there are the bottom and top two drums. The both drums are connected with the tubes. So usually water passed from the bottom, then it goes to the top. From the top there is a steam is passing. There is a ladder kind of thing, both side connected with the tube. Through this, finally the superheated steam is going to the process. The combustion here, it start here. There is a combustion chamber. The entire flue gases is passing through this tube. Again, it will expose to the both ladder kind of drums. These drums. Finally, it will go to the chimney. So there are so many components are there. Fuel, then fuel burner. You can see the downcomer tube, then boiler water, steam drum, saturated steam, safety valve at the bottom. You can see the saturated steam outlet, superheated. Here it starts the saturated steam from this drum, then it converted into the superheated drum, superheated steam here, exhaust gases, superheater. This we call it, this ladder kind of the portion, we call it as a superheater. Water tube, water, feed water drum. Advantage of the water tube boiler. The maximum working pressure of the water tube boiler is 250 bar. Point number 2, overall efficiency is up to 90% with an economizer. Point number 3, it requires less floor area for a given output. Point number 4, load fluctuation can be easily handled. Point number 5, the rate of steam generation and the quality of steam for the suitable power generations are much better. Point number 6, this can be used in large power plant. Point number 7, the direction of the water circulation is well defined. Disadvantage of the water tube boiler. Point number 1, complex design and high maintenance cost. Point number 2, a skilled operator is required for operation. Point number 3, this is used in large power plant and it is uneconomical for use in small industry. Point number 4, for the same power output, the cost of a water tube boiler is high. Point number 5, treatment of the feed water is very essential in a water tube boiler as small scale deposits inside the tube can cause overheating and bursting of boiler or tube. The water treatment is very important for the healthy operation of the boiler. The quantity of the water used to produce the steam in the boiler will have a profound effect on meeting the objective of safe operation, maximum combustion and heat transfer efficiency, minimum maintenance and a long working life. What are the source of contaminations in water? There are 4 kind of the common impurities in raw water. The first one is suspended solid. These are the substances that exist in water as suspended particles, usually mineral or organic in origin. These substances are not generally a problem as they can be filtered out. The second one is a dissolved solid. These are substances that will dissolve in water. The principal ones are the carbonate and sulfate of calcium and magnesium, which are scale forming when heated. There are other dissolved solids which are non-scale forming. In practice, any salt forming scales within the boiler should be chemically altered so that they produce the suspended solid or sludge rather than scale. As we have just learned, these are easier to remove. Usually, to remove the scale is difficult, whereas sludge can be removed very easily. The third class of contaminant is dissolved gases. Oxygen and carbon dioxide can be readily dissolved in water and are aggressive instigator of corrosion. the dissolved gases are very dangerous. So that has to be controlled in the water. The fourth and final impurities is substances, usually mineral, that causes the foam or scum. Total dissolved solid. A boiler generates the steam. Any dissolved impurities will remain in the feed water. When the concentration of the impurities becomes higher, foam is generated and the volume of boiling water increases, resulting in more and more low quality wet steam being generated. The concentration of the impurities is often termed total dissolved solid and can be estimated in parts per million from the conductivity or density of the boiler water. Usually, while you have this kind of issues foam, your laundry will get complaint. They will not achieve the desired steam, will not give the desired temperature, and also cooking process also will get affected. So this carry over, we have to control it. The dissolved impurities are one of the main reasons for the foaming. Through foaming, this carryover will start. This below charts the boiler type and maximum TDS. The Lancaster is the early design boiler, 10,000 TDS ppm is allowed. 2-pass boiler tube, 4,500 ppm. Today, packaged into 3-pass fire tube boiler, 3,000 to 3,500 ppm is allowed TDS. Low pressure water tube boiler, 2,000 to 3,000 ppm. Medium pressure water tube boiler, 1,500 ppm. High pressure water tube boiler, 1,000 ppm TDS is allowed. Pre-treatment of the boiler feed water. Boiler feed water and backup waters are stored and treated in a boiler feed tank. Condensate is also returned from the system into this tank. The importance of this step is often underestimated. The boiler feed water has to be specially conditioned to avoid the problem in the boiler and downstream component. The picture itself self-explanatory of this pre-treatment of the boiler feed water. Boiler blowdown. What is manual boiler blowdown? Bottom blowdowns are normally manual and are accomplished through tappings at the bottom of the boiler. This opening allows for the removal of the solids that settle at the bottom of the boiler, sometimes referred to as mud or sludge. Manual blowdown is also used to keep water level control devices and cut off clean off any solid that would interfere with their operation. You can see here bottom blowdown boiler drum, TDS control system, steam supply, deaerator. The deaerator is used to remove the dissolved gases. Cold backup is going here, then the steam is coming so that it get heated. So all the gases, dissolved gases will goes through this vent. Flash vessel. Continuous blowdown. A continuous blowdown uses a calibrated valve and a blowdown tap near the boiler water surface to draw water from the boiler at a predetermined rate. Only a small proportion is drawn off. You can see in the picture. Boiler feed, heat exchanger, automatic boiler blowdown. Automatic boiler blowdown system monitor the buildup of contaminations in the boiler and initiate a boiler blowdown when the level of the contaminants reaches a preset threshold. With manual blowdown, you do not know exactly how often to blow down. So commonly operator errors on the side of caution. So it is essential to have the automatic boiler blowdown. You can see here blowdown. There is a controller. You can see the TDS, other parameters also, conductivity probe also there, sample cooler, here blowdown valve. Why carryover happening in the boiler steam line? Carryover is any solid, liquid or vapor contaminant that leaves a boiler along with the steam and results from the incomplete separation of the steam from the steam or the water mixture in the boiler. Many factors, both mechanical and chemical, contribute to incomplete separation. Mechanical factors include boiler design, high water levels, load characteristics, method of firing, inadequate or leaking separating equipment. Whenever excessive boiler water concentration causes the carryover, and increasing in the boiler blowdown rate is normally the simplest and most expedient solution. When high level of feed water impurity causes the high concentration, adjusting or upgrading the general treatment may provide the most economical solution. Frequently, the causes of a carryover problem cannot be economically corrected through the adjustment of boiler, water balances, or installation of the additional external treatment facilities. In many of these instances, the use of an effective anti-foam agent can reduce the carryover tendency significantly. Thank you for watching. Soon we will see the next video. If you have any suggestion or any feedback, please email to me. Hope all of you subscribe to our hospitality channel. If not, please subscribe and turn on the notification. Thank you.